What's your recommendation for someone that wants to get into the real estate game?
What I would tell most people, especially out in Michigan or in Ohio, and those, find a two-family and live in it.
And
Go
then do
ahead.
you recommend a new person maybe do a fix and flip or long-term
There's
hold?
so many. You can go to county records. You can call up people and literally buy their houses that are not for sale that you never thought you could even buy.
Hey, I'm Tim, licensed loan officer, MLS 1866731. I have a special guest for you. This is a friend, coworker, mentor, someone great. What's going on, Jarrett?
How are you?
I'm good, good. What you been up to?
So I was in mortgages, as you know, probably for quite a while. I moved over to MCA, Merchant Cash Advances, as well as working on building a portfolio on rental homes. So trying to get more involved in something that I can control, other than like the market right now, where it's at. So it's tough out there unless you're building that referral source. And I'm a call center type guy, so that's what I'm good at.
Nice, nice. Well, the reason I wanted you to come on here is that I get a lot of clients and people ask me about investing. And I literally spoke to someone yesterday. We had coffee together. He wants to get into the whole real estate game. He's working on getting his realtor license. And I thought of you because you've actually owned a few rental properties. And I wanted to get your advice. So when people start, asking me these questions, hey, I can share this video here. Here's everything you need to know about kind of get into the game. What do you recommend for someone that wants to maybe get into it? What I recommend for him is let's just buy your primary first, and then we can kind of take it from there. What's your recommendation for someone that wants to get into the real estate game?
Yeah, so like the time now, especially like I moved back from Michigan to New York. So if you want to live in New York in a closet, it costs $5,000. So you have to like literally, what I would tell most people, especially out in Michigan or in Ohio, and those, find a two-family and live in it. So then you basically are going in, or 2 to 4 family. You can put 3% down. You pay your portion. Sometimes you don't even have to, and you have 3 tenants involved. And then basically from there, then you can then turn that into a full rental, do it again. And after time, you do 10 or 20 of those. That's your portfolio. You have multiple family homes. That's where a lot of people are going right now, especially with myself, like being here. I eventually plan to do that in New York, so I can, so opposed to like having a $6,000 mortgage with the rentals where they are right now, I can get a home, live in one unit, rent out the other, pay $1,800 a month in New York. So that's how I think for now. And also it's timing, like I moved out to Michigan in 2008. And if I knew what I knew was going to be like, in hindsight's 2020, but I would have bought up everything possible and I would just be having portfolio now. So it's going to happen again with the rates where the market is. You're not going to want to go to New York, California. You want to go to that state. And so kind of finding that state where it was like in 2008, Michigan was one of those places you would go to. You can get a house for nearly next to nothing. You wait 10 years and you have generational wealth. So it's something that you can really just have to just do your research, see why something would happen. Like during the pandemic, for example, if you would have bought in Tampa Bay, Florida, right now you're sitting pretty. But who knew? Like Amazon moved in there, it became a tech town, the taxes. So you look for those types of areas, and it's just doing research. And then a lot of people that I find who are smart and very cautious are the ones that don't make it rich. They do over time and they have their investments, and slowly and slowly and slowly, and then as they're ready to get out of business, they have money in the bank, they're ready to go. The people that I see here that are making tons of money instantly and doing well, they're just going for it, and if they learn along the way. So you find a deal, it seems okay. What I could tell you in my personal is not taking advantages and taking more risks, especially depending on your situation, but risks pay out more. So calculated risks is what I would do, and just go in, do one, and then see what happens. It goes well, do it again. If not, figure out why it didn't and do it again.
Okay, I like that. Okay. So look for a 2 unit or 3 unit, something like that. Live in one and then rent out the other units, correct? As a
Yeah. So
brand
like
new investor. just to get
Because
started.
you can't like nowadays. It's like what's going to happen with the mortgage, I don't know. But even with that, let's say they have the people who that you come across that have okay credit or they don't have good income. Then another way to do it is use the DSCR loans. You put 30% down. You can buy a property in an LLC. You don't have to use anything. Yeah, the credit has to be okay, but nothing crazy. The better the credit, the better the down payment, the better deal you'll get. But this is something where you can buy a home, you know, and just basically live in it and not have to live in it. It could be a rental instantly, and you can get a mortgage on it, and then eventually turn it into something where you can pull equity on it. And that's where a lot of people try to do it. They try to look at there's a thing called the Burr method. Not sure if you're know it or not, but
No,
basically,
no, go ahead and talk a little bit about it.
so it's like basically you want to buy anything with the 1 to 2% is what the profit comes out to be. So if I'm getting a house for $200,000, roughly you're looking at probably want to rent that home for at least 2,000. So if you can rent that home out roughly for about $2,000 every month, depending on where it is, it's $200,000. Like for instance, I got a house in Michigan for 5 grand, and I rehabbed it, put in about 35K, and then it turned into $800 a month. Now that's not going to be profit, but that's the stepping stone. So then now you can go, and then as you start getting bigger and bigger and bigger, then you have the cash flow. A lot of people then what happened now, if you buy now and you have a high rate, you refinance back out in when the rates come down by 1% or 2 points, and then you take that cash out and then you buy another home. So that's what a lot of people in New York do with their buildings. So that's kind of stopped with all of what's going on now, but it's ebbs and flows. And so if you want to like Michigan, Baltimore, these areas, they're always ups and downs. New York is more of the time that's just trending up all the time. Also, certain parts of Florida like that, but college towns and Jewish communities, you really can't go wrong. I can tell you right now, I'm looking in Louisville, Kentucky, right, not too far away from the University of Louisville, but it's also there's a Jewish community, and where there's a Jewish community, even like say in Michigan, it's just the Orthodox Jews have to live in those areas, and they'll pay more to live there. And the realtors know this, the town knows this, everybody knows this. So it's just beneficial to you if you can get into those areas when it's a downturn. Eventually, people, especially in New York now, I see tons of people going to Ohio and Texas and just getting out of here because they don't need to be here. Unless you have to be in a certain state, you're going to see a lot of people moving towards the Midwest in certain areas just because, it's just a cheaper way of life and it's better. Like since coming back from like you could see, the changes. People are nicer outside of New York. They're more humble out there. You don't need millions of dollars to survive, just to survive. Like here, you're making $1 million a year. It's nice, but it's not like great. Like
Yeah, it's
that's
hard for me to fathom that because in Michigan, that's a lot of money.
100. Listen, from what we did last year, I was like, thought I was basically gonna go like buy a mansion and that was it. I was set, and then the whole downturn happened. But it's different because the same thing goes to twofold. Like you do that, and for instance, I have family that does real estate, and they'll only do it in New York, and they bought a building years back for $3 million, and then a year later sold it for 6. So that's something that in New York won't happen in Michigan. Michigan is and the other states that have good rental markets over the years are something you want to buy and hold for a while and just watch the ebbs and flows. And then there's always like normally, like for instance, I had investors I worked with that bought in 08. They sold everything out by 2012. But they
Mm.
they were buying houses in Royal Oak and in Madison Heights for 30 grand. So like, the market, that area. It's just incredible that, and it wasn't like the foresight. They were doing it in Jacksonville. So there's a lot of different ways when the market gets down. That time is though, opposed to now is you have to have money. If you have a backer or someone who has money, when the times are bad, you buy and hold for 5 years, and then you can triple, you can basically become a millionaire by doing that. But if
Wow.
you
And
go
then do
ahead.
you recommend a new person maybe do a fix and flip or long-term hold, or just right now, like you said, just go with the 2 unit or 3 unit for now?
So it's up to you. Personally, you kind of find your niches, and then that's what makes it happen. There's a lot of ways to make money in real estate. You can wholesale deals, you can fix and flip, you can buy and hold. Bottom line is, like, everything has a price. Like, you're eventually going to get it off. But at the same time, um, you have to pick an avenue. That's my problem. I try to throw my hat in a million different little things and never give my enough focus to one thing to watch it grow, make it better, and then if it doesn't, move on. But I wouldn't recommend going in and doing all of those things. I would pick an avenue. Whether you want to do fix and flips, great. If you're a contract, like, there's a reason why you would do certain things. If you're good with numbers and stuff like that, I would lean towards rentals. But if you are a contractor and you know the cost and you can do it yourself, fix and flips could be great capital, which eventually down the road you may get a fix that doesn't become a flip. That's what a lot of them do. And then you go in and then you're selling off, so you have the money. You're not even getting mortgages because you made the profits on those. You're buying homes outright, but now you're turning that into every, like, fifth or sixth home you keep. And after a while, the benefit of the fix and flips is instant cash. But that if you don't get a job, or you don't, and something goes wrong, or it takes longer than you expected, then you're kind of stuck with these homes, and then they may automatically turn into rentals for you, or you're going to try to, so you don't lose all your money. So you gotta just pick an avenue of what you know. And if you're in the contracting business, I would say fix and flips are the way to go. But if you're more into numbers and just studying, and you don't even know, and you're just gonna hire someone to do this, then I would not do fix and flips, because when you deal with contractors, nothing ever goes smoothly.
Yeah, nothing ever gets done on time. So I see a lot of things online with like different courses, and everyone's trying to sell you stuff. Do you recommend, where do people go to get some more information to do their research and planning after they decide, what strategy they're going to go?
YouTube.
YouTube.
YouTube has everything for free. Like, you can pay for these courses, and bottom line is, we actually spoke about this, but the mortgage animals is something
Mhm.
out there. And personally, after my meeting, I felt like I had that training before at my previous employer. And bottom line is, I think, like, there's certain people out there that need it. And if that's something that's gonna, because I know people that take the courses and they do exactly what they say, and it shows volume and it shows numbers, and yeah, by all means. I don't like to pay for things that are free. So, and it's also their context, because these people who are real estate investors are well
Mhm.
off, and if you're not trying to sell them, they're very open to talk to you.
Okay, so you can just reach out to someone and say,
Yeah, I just make a
"Hey, I
comment
admire you,
somehow.
like what you're doing. Can you give me a
Go
little
to a
bit of tips?"
networking event, go
Okay.
to a real estate conference, go to somewhere where someone's doing, like, one of those talks, and just walk in when there's no admission and just speak to the people around you, making the right connections. Like, there's a guy I follow on TikTok, and he became huge. His name's Pace Morgan, and he's incredible. He looks like a regular dude. He was just a contractor, guy flipping and buying and wholesaling homes. And he got to a point where he's so productive and so profitable that he has private investors giving him 3 to 4% rates, like, for 6 months. So he can get the jobs done and then flip it. But it took him years. And he deals with rappers, he deals with NBA players, he goes to
Wow.
seminars across the country, and he just constantly, and he doesn't look anything special, doesn't look like he knows more than anybody. Real estate is you always making your money on the purchase. That's how you have to look at it. When you're buying a home, that's why you never, kind of like they say, and that you don't want to really, like, poop where you eat. You
Mhm.
don't. If you live in Michigan, yes, you can buy in Michigan, but you shouldn't. I personally feel you should be buying, outside of where your remnants are, and not what you want. Like, yeah, everybody wants those beachfront apartments, or you want something cool, or this. That's great, but it's a lot of headaches and things happen. Student housing is probably one of the best, I feel, because you'll never have to worry about tenants unless colleges start closing down. But you're not signing up kids, you're signing up their parents who are then putting down deposits. And most likely the kids renting apartments opposed to getting student housing are going to, or even single family homes, have money. So you don't have to worry, even if the homes are trash. You can sometimes they'll charge you by bed in those cases. Like there's houses in Ann Arbor that sell for $700,000, but they may be pulling in anywhere from 4 to 6 grand a month in rent because they don't sell 10 bedroom home. They're selling 10 beds to each kid at $1,000 or $500 or whatever it may be. And they don't care because it's like a frat house to them. And they don't care if they live with roommates. They all have their own rooms. And that's where you find good niches. And it's just like timing. A lot of it has to just do with timing. People who bought in 2008 in Michigan, not everybody did well. So you have to do your research. If you don't know the area, that's the key because everybody's always looking, but you have to find what either realtors or good partners or someone out there that's in the industry because all these investors
Uh-huh.
are all the same. They're all going somewhere now. They already started and they always move on. Like I had friends, they were in Jacksonville. Everybody was buying in Jacksonville. When Jacksonville came oversaturated, they moved to Ohio. Then Ohio, then they moved to Michigan. And so like now they're in like I think doing North Carolina in certain areas. That's already getting too much. Like once you start seeing people having seminars and talks about where they're buying, it's too late. So
You
you
mean
want to
okay, you missed the opportunity. Yeah, you
pretty
missed that
much
window.
because you want to get in. Like for instance, like in Jacksonville, my friends were getting houses for $1. They were the only ones in the courthouse when this was an unprecedented time, and even Michigan they were doing it. But you can go to courthouses and sit in on auctions. You could go to different resources and finding the right tools right now with where the technology is. You just have to find the right source that works for you. But there's so many. You can go to county records. You can call up people and literally buy their houses that are not for sale that you never thought you could even buy because they're underwater. And this is all public information, public knowledge. You just have to be dedicated to it. And then with anything, the hardest thing is giving it time. I'm one of the people that doesn't do that myself, but you definitely want to. Real estate is for investment. So you don't want to go in and make it your career. So you start out getting your stuff done as a supplemental income. And then once you get enough money where it's coming in steadily, then yeah, then it could become your job or it could become but it should always be something just like a stock account. You're still going to do your 9 to 5, you're still going to do your regular job, but building these up and building it out, with where the economy is right now, having an extra even five, as long as you're profiting at the end of the day, you'll make your money on the sale and that's where you're going to make your money. The rest of the time, yeah, if you can put some extra money in your pocket, it's more so just getting it so you don't lose the money. That's the main key to start off.
Yeah,
So,
and then Jared, what are you doing now, real quick? Like, just fill us in how you can help businesses. Because you mentioned you're getting loans to small businesses, and it's
yeah,
pretty
so there's
quick.
industry out there. A lot of people know it as an MCA or a merchant cash advance. So what we do is we go off of what your bank statements have. We don't care about anything else. We don't care about how long you were established. We don't care about where you're from, what your business plan is. We care about how long you were in business, what's you're depositing every month, and what's ending at the end of the month. So I've helped people with 800 credit scores. I've helped people with 400 credit scores. We don't care about that. We do just look into seeing if you own the business. And a lot of these companies came out years and years ago, just throwing money out there, private investors just making incredible returns, not looking at the overall like business of what they're doing. So our company here is has a hedge fund backer. That was my previous boss. He came in, saw this industry, sees the returns, but he wants to make it where it's like a positive thing. Like we grow with the businesses. Most of these companies are just giving you loans and churning and burning, and that's it. And they're making their money, and that's it. Here, we're giving you a loan that you may necessarily want to take at first because you come to us and you need 150K, 250K, whatever it may be. But over this course of the next 1 to 4 months, we'll get you that with a 4% interest rate on Vanguard line of credit. So, like, there's something I've already done it with several clients, and that's where us coming in there, The problem is that these companies are all mimic because there's not like licensing to it. Anything you have to do, you just go in and do it. You have a phone, you make an LLC, you can call anybody you want, and there's people doing it left and right, and just shopping deals to banks, and the banks are just like basically rich people who have money. So there's no regulation. There's no harm, no foul as far as like if the borrower or this. Yes, there's some precautions they take and stuff, but bottom line is with us here, we're looking for businesses within like 3 or 4 months of good revenues, and we can basically give you anywhere from 2 to 3 times that per month into your accounts to build up that line of credit where then you have it there, and it's just like a line of credit on your home. Just have it for your business.
Nice. And I know a lot of business owners could use an extra bit of capital because they could just make more money by having more money. Like it takes money to make money.
A hundred percent.
And just in closing remarks, what's the best advice? Just give me one or two things for anyone new starting out in closing, your best advice for them in closing that
So
want to
the
get
one
into
thing
this.
I would say is, and I still need to work on it, but ask for the business. No matter what you're doing, just ask because you never know. Like everybody's so timid and scared, and that's what's turning away your closings.
So you're saying
So
go ahead and make the offer, basically. Ask for
yeah,
the
you just
business, make
gotta
the
just gotta
offer.
throw out deals and have a good amount of like due diligence done so you know what you're doing and throw them out. Like I throw out deals all the time, and you may get back 5 no's and 1 yes, just like in the sales. And who cares? You shouldn't be looking if you're trying to build this up. 2 to 5 homes a year is a positive.
Yeah. Yep. Well, thanks so much for coming on, man. You dropped so much knowledge. I know this is going to help somebody. And I'm going to go ahead and, post this to YouTube and different places and really share this because I get these questions a lot and everyone wants to do it. So this is kind of a blueprint and put them in the right direction.
Oh yeah, listen, being in the mortgages, you're a financial advisor, so you should advise them in all aspects, and that's great. No, have the tools, make the right contacts. That's the way to go.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Jared. I know we'll be talking next week. We're buddies and we always stay in contact. So I wish you the best. Like I said, I really appreciate you coming on here and you're going to help a lot of people with this. You might even get a couple of texts like, hey, I saw the video. I just bought my first unit.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, good luck. Yeah, keep it going.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
All right. Bye.